one play of fundamentals from special team standpoint, mistake that hadn't happened in the vicinity of the original Texas Stadium since Leon Lett, Thanksgiving Day 1993, but that's what turned it. That's what swung it. Extended a drive because a guy touched a blocked punt after it crossed the line of scrimmage, and that was it for the Cowboys, and that was it for Cincinnati, and one team still got a chance and the other team doesn't.
And the thing this morning, I think even late last night, you saw all over social media, people can't wait to see Micah Parsons' podcast now. So I don't know if he knew that, but his reactions to storming off the field, all of those things lead up to everyone wanting to see what he has to say. And then obviously after the game, you know, like all guys who have played in the game and you've been in an emotional game like that, it's hard to get your emotions in check to say what you really want to say in a way that's still going to be productive to your team. But to watch that game of two teams that I think we had high hopes for coming into the season, and then you looked at this game and, you know, it was talked about for weeks. The only reason this game probably didn't get flexed was because of the whole Simpsons alternate broadcast thing. And then you turn it on and you're like, this is a pretty good game. But the truth of the matter is these two teams have found ways, and I'll say especially Cincinnati, their offense has played at a high level, but some way at the end of every game, they find a way to lose. And it was like, yes, Cincinnati, you do that unless you get the opportunity to play the Cowboys. And like you said, to think of the Cowboys and their special teams unit of Bones Fossil being a special teams coordinator there, how much recognition he gets as being one of the better special teams coaches in the NFL. He was a big person to get the new kickoff implemented this year to try to help special teams stay relevant. And this play right here is talked about in high school, in college, in the pros. When the ball gets blocked on a punt and it goes beyond the line of scrimmage, the word is always Peter or poison, meaning get away from the ball. And I think when you see plays like this, your first instinct is to say, oh, bad coaching. But when you watch the game, you see all of the players are getting away. You see Bones Fossil on the sideline waving, get away, and one guy, and I think he's thinking right now, if I pick this ball up, I might score, and it's the wrong mentality in that situation. Just get away from the ball. Your team's probably going to win the game. You have one of the best kickers in the NFL. Great field position, just unfortunate ending of the game for the Dallas Cowboys right there.
And I think in a situation like that, a player like Amani Oruwariye, he has his brain short circuit. It goes back to your basic instinct. There's the ball, go get the ball. And that takes over for the coaching point that's been drilled into your head. If there's a block punt across the line of scrimmage, stay away from it, let it come to rest. We're going to get the ball wherever it comes to rest. If you touch it and don't secure it, it becomes potentially the possession of the team that punted 1st and 10, which is exactly what happened after the Nick Vigil block of the punt that crossed the line of scrimmage. The instinct is get the ball. You have to be able to turn it off. You have to build into your brain a new instinct. You have to rewire your brain in that moment to stay away from it, and he just didn't. And back to Parsons, I was surprised he even talked to reporters, because there have been times where, and when he left the field early, I thought he's going to go and he's going to change and he's going to get the hell out of there before they have a chance to talk to him. And league rules require that you're available after the game, but guys take liberties with it. If the local media doesn't want to make a stink about it, it just kind of happens. Like usually guys get fined for not talking to reporters after a game only after it's happened enough times that the local media, which tries to create this balance and symbiosis with the team and doesn't want to fight with guys unnecessarily, they've had to have had enough of it, Devin, and they say, hey, we have to complain to the league about this. So I thought last night was one of those nights where it was just going to be vapor trail for Micah Parsons, and we weren't going to hear anything until his podcast. But we did hear a little bit, and we will hear more from him coming up, and we will hear more from him on his podcast. But it just underscores a crap season. We're better than this. We should have won more games. And here's a very tangible example of how a night that felt like it was going to continue our winning streak, we're going to move to 3, we're going to maybe make some noise down the stretch and steal a playoff berth, or at least take it to week 17 and 18. And now in that one moment, the air went out of the balloon. And I think that's where a lot of that came from. It wasn't just the one game. It was a game that felt like if you really want to have a chance in the final 4 weeks of the season, you got to win this one. And it just had this momentum to it that they were going to.
Yeah, and I think especially for a guy like Micah Parsons, since he's re-entered the lineup for this team, this defense has gotten better. You got Deron Bland back. You put Diggs out there on the outside. You have these two corners that you rely on a lot, Jordan Lewis in the slot. So when you watch this team, it had been better. It had been a defense that, obviously struggled against the run early in the season, played, the likes of Detroit and Baltimore, some of the tougher teams in this league. But this latter part of the season, it felt like, it's going to be hard. But especially as a player, when you can win some of these games now, it changes those last 2 weeks of the season of, are you mentally checked out? Are you already somewhere else? Or are we still fighting because just maybe the way these games fall with so many divisional opponents being at the end of your schedule, you start looking and you're like, well, if we win and that team wins, now you just start doing all of these math equations that keep you alive towards the end of the season when, for Mike McCarthy, for Cowboys fans, you need that hope. You need that reason to go play. And I think Micah Parsons last night, he felt that slip away. And I think he had this feeling of, I came back, I kind of put on my Superman cape because he's been playing out of his mind, his rushes, getting to the quarterback, flying around on the field. I think he felt like, I'm going to help will this team into the playoffs or will this team to continue to be relevant down the end of the season. And when you play a game and you just lose a hard-fought game, it's a different feeling than when you play a game and you're like, we got it. Like, we won this. We came out blow for blow with the Cincinnati Bengals, Monday Night Football, and then just like that, one play erases it. It's just a really bad feeling as a player, and I think especially a player of his caliber who feels like he has the impact to change a game and change a season all by just being on the field.
All right, some other opinions about the game. And on that fateful play, Shereen Williams, who was at the game, first thing she texted to the PFT writers group chat, Leon Lett, because that's exactly what happened. I'm surprised Troy Aikman didn't say it. He was there. He was the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Thanksgiving of 1993, when the ice storm happened because there was the hole in the roof in the old Texas Stadium. And hey, there's Jerry. Boy, that's a young Jerry Jones. And that's it. That's it. Hey, the Cowboys are going to win the game. And then Leon Lett slides in and touches it after the blocked field goal goes past the line of scrimmage. The Dolphins recover, and the Dolphins win the game. All because Leon Lett didn't know the rule. Now, I know it's been 31 years, but of all the teams for this to happen to again, because how often do we see this happen? It doesn't happen because the guys know the rules. Here it is again. 3 decades later, that same bolt of lightning hits the Dallas Cowboys, Devin.
And it's so funny to watch the play because it's always no one around. Like, everyone else is, like you just said, their mind hasn't just blown a gasket. And they're all away. They're all far away. And it's just the other team, whether it was the Bengals or the Dolphins, the only ones surrounding the ball. So as soon as the one player goes and touches the ball, it's over. There's no one else over there to kind of help you or take the blame away and jump on the ball and save you because everyone else knows. And it's funny to see because from the outside looking in, you watch the play and you're just like, well, why would you go touch the ball? And no one else has touched the ball. They're ahead of you. They're getting away from it. But it's a reminder of the game happens so fast. And when you sit there and you're just like, I got to get this ball. Like, this is a loose ball. And nothing else matters because you zero in on the ball. And I think the unique thing about both of these situations we talked about a few weeks ago is the simple fundamentals of a ball's on the ground or a ball's bouncing, and this is a bad play. You shouldn't touch it. You should stay away. But if you just so happen to go touch it, just field the ball. Just Leon Lett, just get 2 hands around the ball, secure it. Like Aurier, just catch the, like he put his hands in the wrong position on the bounce. Just secure the ball. And yes, it's a bad play. It'll be talked about, but it's like he shouldn't have done it, but since he did do it, he at least did it the right way. That simple fundamental of how many times a ball is on the ground or a ball is bouncing and someone has a chance to get it and they don't get it. And that's never talked about because you should avoid the situation altogether. But if you do decide to dabble in it, just secure the ball. It's sometimes that simple.
I need to know this. Back in November of 1993, was 6-year-old Devin McCourty watching the Leon Lett moment, and did that become ingrained in your brain at a young age? Stay away from the football when there's a block kick that crosses the line of scrimmage.
As a young Cowboys fan growing up, I have to admit that did not stay ingrained in my mind. Young 6-year-old Devin watched
you pushed it out.
I was confused by what was going on, didn't understand why he touched it and why the Cowboys suffered from that. So yes, I was not fully aware in my in-game situational football at 6 years old yet.
I'm disappointed to hear that, but I appreciate the candor. Troy Aikman, Gary informs me, did mention the Leon Lett moment during the post-game with Scott Van Pelt, but that means somebody texted him. Like one of his teammates, like Michael Irvin or somebody, or Emmitt Smith or somebody, or even Leon Lett. Hey, I'm off the hook now. That's one of those that, like, if Shereen Williams is instantly, she's been a Cowboys fan for 50 years, if she's instantly thinking that, you would think the quarterback of the team that happened to would know right away. Hey, that's Leon Lett. But that's okay. Troy's got a lot going on in the moment. They're trying to process a lot of things, and maybe he was watching the Simpsons feed while he was otherwise working his primary job. The Bengals get the win. I don't want to bury that, but anytime you have a Cowboys game, this is what happens. The Cowboys find a way to take all the attention and make it about them, whether they intend to or not. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.
Howdy, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Today, your number one source for all things America's team. If you're a diehard football fan and love our Dallas Cowboys, you're in the right place. So don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to stay updated with all the latest Cowboys news. Let's get started. What's up, Cowboys fans? We're hitting that part of the season where the rumors are heating up like never before, and of course, the Dallas Cowboys are right at the center of it all. Today, we're diving into some explosive talk involving none other than Bill Belichick. Buckle up, because things are getting serious. Before we get into it, drop a comment below. What do you think about Mike McCarthy's performance so far? Does he still have what it takes to lead this team? Or is it time for a change? Let me know. I want to hear from you. Now, let's talk about what's going on behind the scenes. During the last Monday Night Football game against the Texans, the Cowboys' performance stood out, but not in a good way. There were blown coverages, missed tackles, and even a timeout because of too many players on the field. If you were watching, you felt it. But guess who else noticed? Bill Belichick. Here's the bombshell. Belichick, while appearing on the ManningCast, openly criticized the Cowboys' defensive performance. And that wouldn't be so surprising if not for one key detail. Rumors are growing stronger that he could be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, there's a growing belief around the league that Jerry Jones might make Belichick his first call this offseason. Mike McCarthy's contract ends after the 2024 season, and with inconsistent performances like the ones we've seen, renewal seems less likely by the day. But here's the bigger question. Is Belichick still the unbeatable coach he once was? Some analysts aren't convinced he's the magic fix Dallas needs. Questions linger about the kind of coaching staff he'd assemble, especially on offense. But one thing's for sure, his track record cements him as one of the greatest of all time. So, what do you think, Cowboys Nation? Would you want Bill Belichick leading the Dallas Cowboys? Or should Jerry Jones look elsewhere for answers? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This debate is about to heat up. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends on social media, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update on the most beloved, and sometimes most frustrating, team in the NFL. Here, we talk Cowboys with heart and passion. See you next time, and go Cowboys!